them in place to keep us in chains. By show of hands, who else is sick and tired of the same? 1% trying to keep us small, trying to keep us from getting out. Minimizing the struggles they've caused, saying we're not working hard enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands in attendance and for the millions watching at home, DCK Productions proudly brings to you the greatest podcast in the world! The greatest podcast in the world? Suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. I appreciate it if you both suck it. Suck it!
We really should stop this fighting. Otherwise we'll miss the fireworks.
There won't be any fireworks.
And here we go.
And welcome everybody to Suck It. I am the great and powerful King of Kings, Prince of all. That is awesome. Derek, how is everybody tonight? The first day of September of 2020. What fun it is. I'm excited. Are you guys excited? Getting closer to fall. Starting to cool down. Today it was in the 60s here today. Overcast. It was just beautiful. Things are just, hopefully starting to cool off and starting to, summer's hopefully over sooner rather than later. But, that's here in Virginia. Wherever you are, if you're in Florida or California, sorry. Or Vegas. But here, we've got nice weather. So, yeah. So, tonight, I have a guest with me, who is a PR for indie artists, social media influencer, a branding guru, and celebrating 15 years in the business. Done a lot of cool stuff. Not really going any more than that, because you should need to hear it from her mouth and not mine. However, it looks like she's having some technical difficulties because I don't see her on screen. So maybe I can talk to her. I'm going to try and see what happens. But I'll bring her on here in a second just to make sure we're good. Thanks, Jimmy, or Ron, whoever that comment was. Have a great show. Thank you. I love you both. Thank you very much. But let's see if she's here. So without further ado, please welcome Miss Cindy Adamo. Cindy, can you hear me? Yeah, she's still having technical difficulties on her end. All right, that's fine. We'll come back to her. All right. So while we're waiting on Cindy, which is perfectly fine. Technical difficulties happened to me last night. My computer crashed right at the beginning of an interview. I had to do part of the interview from my phone. It happens. But, that's the beauty of live streaming, live TV, whatever. It happens. That's fine. We'll get it worked out. And until then, I got some other stuff to talk about. So, over the weekend, for everyone who loves nostalgia, everyone in my generation, maybe even the generation before me, most of my generation has this, massive love and care for the 80s. We love the 80s. We think it's the best generation ever. Well, because some of the greatest movies to ever came out of the 80s. And one in particular trilogy that came out of the 80s that now has a spin-off TV show was The Karate Kid, which now has Cobra Kai as the spin-off TV show. 30 years later, blah, 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 40 or 35 years later. But that show's been out since 2018. It premiered on YouTube Red at the time. Did 2 seasons. And now Netflix has picked it up. For those of you who did not know that. But what's cool about this, and it shows the power of what Netflix does. So Netflix bought the rights to it, and they're going to premiere season 3. I don't have a date for that, so don't ask. But season 3 is coming. I kind of heard at the beginning of 2021. I'm not 100% positive on that, but either way. So season 2 aired last year, and season 1 aired in 2018. And just by putting it on Netflix, without really any promotion, they've now taken it to the #1 show in the country. The #1 show on Netflix, obviously. But it's amazing. So I saw the first season 2 years ago when it premiered. I signed up for a free trial of YouTube Red and watched the first season. Canceled it. But never got YouTube Red to watch season 2. Binge watched season 2 all day today. And I binge watched, season 1 again, because this one I wanted to relive it. First of all, hands down to the cast. My hat's off to the cast. Because let me just check on something real quick here. Cindy, can you hear me? Nope, she's still gone. So hats off to the cast. Because the cohesiveness that's still, 35 years later between Ralph Macchio and William Zabka is just still as good as it was in the 80s. And then throw in all the new kids and all this other stuff. I mean, there was even an episode in season 2 where they brought back some of the Cobra Kai guys from season 1. It was definitely they did it for a reason episode. I don't want to ruin season 2 for anyone who hasn't seen it yet or even seen season 1. But there's a definite episode in there that they did it for a reason. And if you watch that season and then Google a certain thing, you'll know what I'm talking about. But the episodes are just fantastic. And they throw in little clips, from the movies, from 1, 2, and 3. They are constantly filtering in, pumping in, speeches that Pat Morita gave, Ralph Macchio in the movies, or, Mr. Miyagi gave Daniel. But it is a fantastic TV show. And, now I've rewatched season 2, which means rewatched season 1. Now I've watched season 2. It ended on such a cliffhanger. Season 3 is just going to be stellar. Stellar. So if you are a Karate Kid fan, or a fan of anything from the 80s, really, watch this show. I mean, there's so many callbacks. And it just makes you go, yeah. I mean, it makes you, the first time you watch it, and you see, them go back and forth and him teaching him, wax on, wax off and stuff like that. And then you see Daniel teaching, his kids that kind of stuff. And, or the little flashbacks here and there with, the fly and the chopsticks, or the first time they go to like golf and stuff, and the yellow, convertible, was it a Ford or Chevy? But it's just amazingly awesome. So if you haven't had a chance to check out Cobra Kai, like I said, it's now available on Netflix for your watching pleasure. My guest is texting me. Let's see here. Her internet crashed. That's what's going on here. I'm telling her, no problem. Come back when you're ready. All right. So, killing some time. This is all stuff I was going to talk about later. I can just reverse it, right? Isn't that what Miss Elliott said? Flip it and reverse it. I don't fucking know what she says. But anyway, so yes, hands down, go watch that on Netflix. Netflix actually has some really, really great television shows. And obviously, everybody's given some of them a chance. But there's some obscure ones that, just need to be watched. And, there's ones that they promote like crazy and stuff like that. But like, Lucifer, which was originally a Fox TV show, just came out with a season 5. I'm still on season 4 because I never watched the show to begin with. I've been binging it. So I'm, kind of curious to see where that goes, which I know that she got signed for a season 6 next year. So that should be fun. But again, without question, go watch yourself Cobra Kai. You will not regret it at all. Oh, let's see here. See if she's back. Nope, internet's still down apparently. Cindy, can you hear me? Nope. All right. That sucks. I really want to talk to her, but she'll get it figured out. Internet issues happen, right? Don't they all? Hell, like I said, I had computer issues last night to where my computer crashed at the beginning of a freaking episode. And luckily, StreamYard gives me a mobile application to where I didn't have that issue. But I could have. So, still waiting for her to come back, so that's fine. I'm just gonna, like I said, do the stuff I was gonna do at the end of the episode now. But either way, like I said, hats off to the cast of Cobra Kai and Netflix for being able to turn that obscure show on YouTube into the #1 show in the country right now. So that's badass. Speaking of nostalgia, and this is the whole thing again I was going to talk about later, but a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion is coming to HBO Max. So this just came out today. And this comes courtesy of CNN, which is actually HBO, HBO Max, CNN, all owned by Time Warner, which is owned by AT&T. So they're going to break the story. But anyway, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is returning on HBO Max in honor of the show's 30th anniversary. According to a press release, the reunion will be an unscripted special looking back at the series and the cultural impact the series has had since its debut. Set to tape December 10th, the actual 30th anniversary of the series in 1990. The reunion will launch exclusively on HBO Max around Thanksgiving. HBO Max was launched in May as the home to the full series, which you can also watch on Nickelodeon and stuff like that as well. Nick at Night. Will Smith will be joined by regulars Tatiana Ali, Karen Parsons, Joseph Marcel, Daphne Maxwell Reid, and of course Alfonso Ribeiro, as well as reoccurring co-star DJ Jazzy Jeff. So, unfortunately, James Avery, who played Uncle Phil, will not be there, who actually died of open heart surgery complications in 2014. So, obviously, that won't happen. But I find this interesting because HBO Max is kind of flopped big time. They don't really have any, original program that you can't get from HBO. And the reason why I say that is because they're, the biggest thing that they wanted to get the rights to was Friends, which great, they have the rights to Friends. But they still air it every day for 3-4 hours on TBS. So, that can still happen. So, okay, so can't get anything there. Yeah, they had the Friends reunion or whatever they did. But other than that, there's nothing really there. They're trying to separate themselves, but I don't see HBO Max making a smash. I don't. Just like I don't see Peacock Network, owned by Comcast, making a splash in the water either. HBO Max, is trying, but I mean, a lot of the stuff that they have, you can get everywhere else too. I mean, with the exception of like Game of Thrones and stuff like that, but that's over, and it died a cruel death because that last season was horrible. So I don't know what AT&T Time Warner is doing. I just know that that's kind of cool. That the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is doing that. But at the same time, I don't know. I mean, does anyone have HBO Max? Does anyone think it's worth it? I mean, is there really any original programming on there that's worth the extra streaming service? No. I mean, not that I know of. And I've had this conversation before. I mean, the whole thing is with streaming was it was supposed to be less expensive than having traditional cable. So this was supposed to be for cutting the cord, right? Okay. So in order to cut the cord properly and be able to access everything you want, you need Hulu. That's $11.99 now. Then you need Netflix on $10.99. So you got $21 right there. But then, say for instance, you want to be able to watch the Disney stuff. Okay. Now you're at $28. Then, say for instance, you wanted to get HBO Max, or you wanted to do a standalone HBO, whatever the case might be. It's just adding up and adding up and adding up. And then once you realize, wait a second, I can't watch all my regular TV shows, because, say for instance, you're a sports fan. Oh shit, you can't get that. Not all the time. You can't get all the special stuff. So now you're going to go ahead and subscribe to Sling, or maybe you subscribe to the Hulu cable package or live TV package is what they call it, or go to YouTube or whatever the case might be. Okay, now you got that again. So now you're adding on $30-$40. And then now you're paying the same price as cable. All these additional add-ons are just it's not worth it. Peacock, is at least free if you're a Comcast subscriber, which I am, so I got that for free, so I'm lucky in that respect. But what do I get with Peacock? There's a new original show on with David Schwimmer on there, which is The Psych 2 movie came out on there, which was good, but that was about it. They're supposed to have they're supposed to have the exclusive season rights to The Office, but they don't. They don't get that until next year when the Netflix contract is up. So, and plus it's also airing on Comedy Central. So, Peacock doesn't have anything. I mean, yeah, they're going to come out with that new Saved by the Bell TV show. Again, more nostalgia. And that's what everyone's kick is. So, speaking of, Peacock, like I've said this before too, but they have 2 original programs that are getting ready to come out that are feeding off of nostalgia again. With the reboot or 20 years, 30 years later, Saved by the Bell, where now Zach Morris is governor of California. You know, AC Slater is a PE coach at Bayside. I mean, and everyone's kids, for some reason, all still go to Bayside. My daughter just sent me something about Chadwick Boseman. I'll watch it later. But then they also have a Punky Brewster reboot coming out, starring Soleil Moon Frye. Where now again it's 35 years later, whatever it's been. Now she's I couldn't remember if they showed her as being married or whatever, but she's got kids, and now it's a story of her having kids. You know, I love the idea of playing off of nostalgia and not necessarily rebooting a TV show, but, you know, life after the TV show, you know, what happened, you know, that kind of stuff. You know, that's all cool. If done right, you know, Cobra Kai has done it right. Will the Saved by the Bell shit, you know, do the same thing? I don't know. I'm hoping it does. But who knows? Let me check my guest here. Nope, she's still not ready to go yet. Still having internet issues. But it's again, with everything that's going on, is it really worth it to have, you know, all these extra, you know, services? You know, if you think about it, again, it's HBO Max, Hulu, Disney, you know, Netflix, you know, maybe Sling, you know, whatever. It's just the list goes on, and you just keep adding and adding and adding and adding, and then you're paying more than you were with traditional cable. At one point in time, we had cut the cord. We were with Verizon or Fios, whatever you want to call it, and we had an internet package that was $99 a month, I think it was. And then we added on all the, streaming services. Then it just got really expensive. I was like, what the hell is this? Especially because at the time we had DirecTV Now, which is now AT&T TV. But it went from like $20 or $30 a month to like $60 a month. I'm like, what the hell's the point of this? So I literally canceled Fios and then jumped over to Comcast or Xfinity and got the same speed of internet and a full cable package for $99. So I don't understand the point. I don't. Cutting the cord is not really worth it. It's not. Say what you want. Unless you're going to only have Netflix and an antenna, or just Hulu and an antenna, that's all you need. But then if you have an internet package, which is anything worth a damn, they're going to charge you twice the fucking price. Therefore, they're getting their money worth out of you because they know you're just using that just for streaming. So since they know you're going to use a shit ton of bandwidth, they don't give you a discount on it. It's a straight fucking price. You're probably paying over $100 a month just for internet service alone. So are you really getting a deal? No. So beware of streaming. That's all I'm saying. It's it's interesting. So now, again, more nostalgia. When I was preparing for the show today, I was just like, oh my God, nostalgia. So here as we stand, everyone's wondering, what's, the real value of video on demand? What's it going to do when it comes to movies that you can't go to the theaters to see? I don't give a fuck if AMC is charging 15 cents for a movie ticket. I'm not going to an AMC movie. I'm not going to any movie theater. I don't care. Say I'm buying into the bullshit. Say whatever you want. I'm not going to a movie theater. I won't even go to a fucking mall right now. I hate going to the grocery store with a fucking mask on as it is. But that is a necessary fucking evil. But next week, Mulan is coming out on Disney Plus as a premium tier level. And last week, Bill and Ted simultaneously opened up in the theaters, which includes drive-ins, obviously AMC, but also went straight to video on demand as well. Now, here's a true test to what we're going to see. Everyone's been waiting to see what's going to happen with this or with Mulan or whatever the case might be, to see if anything's worth going to happen here in the near future. Well, according to Forbes, right now, this is strange. All right. So New Mutants opened up to a mere $7 million that weekend. Same weekend. Did not go straight to video on demand. Didn't even premiere on video on demand. But they opened up, around the country, around the world, and hit $7 million in opening weekend. It's both summer's best opening and a whole entire disappointment for a whole other slew of reasons as well. Oh, wait. You might have Cindy back. We'll go over this a little bit later. Let's see if she is good to go. Are we good? Nope, I can't hear you. Cindy? I cannot hear you. I can see you moving. I can see your lips moving, but I can't hear you. But you hear me. That's a good sign. Hold on a second. Yeah, everything is good on my end. Did you give permission to use the mic? Was working before. There should be a little settings button that shows a little like a gear that says cam or mic on it. Click that and make sure that the microphone is working. Try logging off and then logging back in again. Okay. All right, so while she does that, I'm going to go ahead and just finish up doing what I was doing. All right, so anyway, back to what I was saying. So, with that being said, also the movie Unhinged came out with 2.6 million in the theaters. That's the Russell Crowe movie. But Bill and Ted, which again concurrently debuted on 1,000 theaters as well as video on demand. Oh, I guess you're going to have to wait for later. Let's see about this.
I checked the mic and it said...
Woohoo! We are good now.
Yahoo!
Woohoo! All right. So, hi!
Wow,
how are you?
Nothing like live podcasting, right?
Exactly. It's the beauty of live, internet, streaming, TV, whatever you want to call it, live podcasting.
That's for sure.
It happens. So, how's everything with you?
Well, it's been an eventful evening so far.
You know, I told you it's always it's an interesting journey on this show.
Yeah, journey. That's good. I like journey.
It's a windy path, but damn it, we'll get from A to Z on this one, I promise.
It's the long and winding road.
It is. Not exactly the yellow brick road. It won't take you to the palace, but damn it, it'll take you somewhere fun.
Yeah, exactly. We just don't know where the heck we're going.
Yeah, exactly. Not yet, anyway. So Cindy, tell me tell me about yourself, and tell us about what you do.
Well, I run a company called LadyLake Entertainment, and what we do is we promote unsigned, independent artists and bands across the United States and some in the UK. We also promote events and tours, CD releases, and we're going into our 15th year as of January.
That is awesome, and let me tell you why. We talked about this a little bit briefly earlier. I think the indie music scene right now is the scene to be in. Because they're doing, and it's always been the scene to be in, but at the same time, back in the 90s, there wasn't as much opportunity, even in the early 2000s, there wasn't as much opportunity. But now, with Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Music, everybody can just put their stuff out there these days. And it's almost smarter to be an indie artist. Which is why for the last 2 months I've been doing a lot of profiling of indie artists on this show, because they deserve a platform too. And I'm glad that you have a company that actually takes it takes advantage of a situation that needs taken advantage of, because some of those bands are better than bands that are being backed by Roadrunner or being backed by all these other companies. And it's just about the dollar. But in this case, it's about the music. And I love that you do that.
It truly is. We got started way back in the days of MySpace. I don't know if you go back that far.
Of course I do.
But, Tom was my friend. Was he your friend too?
Of course.
Yeah, so what happened was there was a duo back in the 90s called Evan and Jaron. I don't know if you know them by name, but their hit song was Crazy for This Girl, and it was on Dawson's Creek.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
She rolls the window down. Those guys.
Yeah.
So I love them, and on their website they had a little chat interface, like a little BBS, if you remember BBS, type chat, where Evan would come on every day and chat to all of us fans. And the one day he said, "Hey, you guys, we're building a MySpace." And we were all like, "What's a MySpace?" And he said, "Well, build one and find out. Come over and be our friend and our fans so we don't look like a bunch of losers." And so he's so funny. He said, "If you don't know how to do anything online, I'll build your MySpace just so you can come and support the band," which I thought was super cool.
Yeah.
But I did know how to do things online, because I had ran a 700 member group of international poetry writers for several years. So I had a little bit of pre-social media experience, I would say.
Okay.
So I went over to MySpace, and literally as soon as you built a MySpace back in the day, you were slammed by all of these unsigned artists. And I thought, wow, this is so amazing. It's kind of like, a little talent show in your little thing here, and people are just hitting you up with music. And this little band from New Jersey came to me, and they were like, "Hey, lady, could you help us?" And I thought, well, what do I know about anything? And I wasn't in music, and I didn't have any contacts or connections or anything. And they said, "Well, we see that you know Evan and Jaron. You must be famous, or you must be fancy, or whatever." And I said, "No, I'm a music fan." But I thought, I listened to these kids. They were high school, college age, and they were just so talented. And I thought, they really deserve an opportunity. I'm going to teach myself how to become an indie music supporter, helper, promoter, whatever you call the title. And I just met all of these amazing people in radio, people in clubs, managers of bigger artists who were so kind, and they took time out, and they I was a meatloaf making mom from Pennsylvania, and they helped me learn how to promote and support an indie band. And so we went from no clients, no contacts. Right now we have approximately 100,000 followers across the various platforms, and a magnification of 160 million that we got documented by some all on our last big reading. So, who's to say? We're not a big famous corporation, but we certainly bust our ASS.
You can say whatever you can say that whatever you want on the show.
I wasn't sure how clean the show was.
We are no this show. I told you earlier that I focus on I do have a mental health stigma about the show, but at the same time we're a funny entertainment comedy show. We can say what the fuck you want. I don't care.
Okay, I've got it.
And that's really cool because still a lot of people to this day, even from my generation, don't realize that MySpace actually started as a place for indie music. Nobody really knew that. All of a sudden we joined it after the fact when, everyone else was just, do this and do that and do this and do that. And, then it got really complicated with all this HTML stuff that you could add in, and it was just fun. But then then Facebook came along and killed MySpace. But MySpace is still around as, again, back doing what they're doing best as a music platform. And people don't even realize that, which is sad.
Well, when everyone sort of migrated over to Facebook, I think Facebook is a good interface if you want to exchange messages and you want to post information. But I think MySpace really had the way that they were set up, the way that you had a little player with your songs on it, the way
Correct.
You could display your photos, and you could interface with your fans. They had a chart. Remember the charts back in the day?
Yep.
It was very competitive, and if you did well, people got record deals back then off of the MySpace charts, if you could recall.
Oh yeah. Even thinking back to it now, there was some stuff on MySpace back in the day that, Facebook never even incorporated still to this day. Like you said, the music player, to where someone like me, who's just an average Joe at the time, who was not a musician, could add a whole playlist to my MySpace page, and anyone who came to my MySpace page could listen to my playlist.
Right.
Yes, Facebook never did that. No other platform ever did that. Not Tumblr, not Twitter, nothing.
No.
So it's still unique. It's still to this day, however many years later.
I think the downfall of MySpace was when they got too technical and they started to upgrade and they started to make so many changes that the average person, I can write HTML, but the average person couldn't really keep up with all of the modifications. And I think they overdid the changes, and that kind of pushed people away. Plus, I was in the original Facebook when it was for college kids. I don't know if you were on back that long ago, but
I was not. I came onto it right after. Yeah.
There wasn't a flipping soul on Facebook, and I was on with the head of a couple of the indie bands that I used to represent, and we basically used Facebook for chit chat and fun because there weren't enough people on it to really use it for networking or anything like that. Yeah. At the same time, LinkedIn was just starting to come up, and I was actually a beta tester for the beginning of LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, you should be.
I am.
LinkedIn is fabulous. I think I have about 8,000 people on there because I'm an open networker. We're called Lions.
Yeah.
And I think the key to having a diverse network is to be on many platforms and to not only limit yourself to music, but to diversify into other types of entertainment businesses, and just, people who are fans, people who are just cool people. Just,
Yeah.
I have such a wide variety of people as my followers and friends and supporters. It's very cool. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way here. I mean, the amount of networking I've done, between Facebook and now Instagram, which Instagram is like the number one social media platform now.
Mm-hmm.
You know it. Yeah, you've got to keep it diverse. I mean, like you
Right.
were like you and I were talking about earlier. If I only used my Facebook, my Instagram as a way just to promote my show, and I posted nothing else but stuff about the podcast,
Right.
that's boring as hell. You've got to keep it interesting. You've
Right.
got to keep it. You've got to keep it moving. Because again, what's the point of someone coming to your thing if you're going to constantly just post this?
Right.
And yeah.
So a lot of people have that misconception about what is an indie promoter, or what does a PR person do? What does a social media person do? And they think that all you do is build a social media account and then you just start typing sentences of information. Well, anybody can really do that, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But then who's going to read it, and how far is your reach? So
Correct.
it's not only about having an account on a platform or typing in information, is how many people are interested in what you're saying, how many people read what you say, respond to what you say, and if you put out a piece of information, how circular does your information go? And that's how you judge who's a good promoter, who's an average promoter, who's a new promoter. It's all
Correct.
about your network and knowing how to use a network.
Yeah, and I love talking about this kind of stuff because I love talking about music too. Don't get me wrong, but this
Yeah,
kind
me
of stuff
too.
is fun because I mean
It is.
it's the backside of the business that doesn't really get talked about too much. When I first really got serious about the show and said, this is my career, this is the only thing I'm gonna do, how do I build this? I did it all on my own. I mean, yeah, I have PR people working behind the scenes getting me guests, but that's
Right.
all, but that's just a networking thing. I don't have PR people, promoting for me or anything else like that. I did it all on my own. So what I did was over like a course of like 10 days, I put out 5 posts with different pictures, different hashtags with the exact same information, but just, maybe one was a video, maybe one was a GIF, maybe one was this, and then just constantly measured the analytics and hit that insights button and said, okay, how far did this reach go? How far did that reach go? Okay, so this one was a little bit better. Okay, so this hashtag worked here, but it did not work over here. And then it is such a constant battle of just looking at your phone or looking at your computer going, what exactly is working here?
Right.
And if you can't figure that out, you're never going to grow.
Right. And the word constant is kind of my middle name. I mean, even though this is a job, it's also a lifestyle choice. If you want to be
Correct.
a big social media person, you're kind of always on, you're never off, you're always working. Even when you're not working, you're working because you have to check all your notifications. You never know when an opportunity might come in for one of your artists or one of your projects. And sometimes if you don't strike when the opportunity is hot, if you wait a couple of days, somebody else might have gotten that opportunity, or maybe the person has moved on to something else. So I try to make sure first thing every morning, I go through all of my social media. Before I go to sleep, I go through all my social media, and throughout the day, I just go hop platform to platform, in addition to working, to see, what's going on. And the reason that I got to be on your show was I was actually talking to Eileen Shapiro at the time, and she had a question for Jimmy, and she told me to stay on the line. And then they both said, hey, there are a couple of shows coming up. Are you interested in doing this show or this show? I said, yeah, sure. It sounds cool. It sounds fun. And so from Jimmy Starr and Eileen Shapiro, that's how I am with you on your podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I love those two.
Oh my gosh, such genuinely cool people.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you who don't know, they own a company called World Star PR.
World Star.
Yep, and
best of the business.
I mean, that's where I get 60% of my guests, 50% of my guests from. from their clientele and stuff like that. And I'm always open to, working with other PR people and promoting everybody. I don't limit myself. But at the same time, it's like, and I never judge a book by the cover either when it comes to interviewing. I might get an email and be like, who the hell is this person? And I'll be like, I don't care who that person is because everybody has a story.
Right.
And especially with me having that focus on, the mental health stuff, I like to hear the real stories of people. So regardless of how famous you are, regardless of what niche you're in or whatever the case might be, if you are a celebrity on any level, the stories that you tell matter to everybody. And it just shows that, you're just like everybody else, or they are just like everybody else. And that's why I love, doing what I do and talking to who I talk to. And I do as little research I told you earlier, I do as little research as I can about somebody if I don't know them. Because I would rather hear it from your mouth hole. I mean, there's no point in Googling stuff if I'm going to interview you. A lot of people shun me for that. Like, oh, you should do as much research as you can. No. Why? I get better reactions from asking questions I don't know the answers to. Especially if you're going to answer in a shocking way.
A lot of interviews are very formulated and they're kind of similar. How did you get into the business? How long have you been in? What are some of the highlights of your project? Do you have any funny stories? And it's kind of like you can predict what they're going to ask in certain instances. And when it's really free form like this, you'll get some great stories. You'll get some great conversations. You might hit a topic that really resounds with someone. So yeah, it is cool to not know.
Exactly. It really is. I mean, because then, like I said, what normally is an hour and a half long interview, I ended up having like a 2-hour long interview last night just because the conversation. I mean, and the only level that me and this guy connected on, his name is Simon Lunch. He just released a new album, former lead singer for the Blondies and stuff like that, but he's a really cool guy. And the only thing that we connected on was we both love guitar, and we both are rhythm guitar guys. We cannot play lead guitar for anything. We cannot do a quick pick solo for anything. And we just bonded off of that, and we talked for 2 hours about guitars and, everything, everything from Jimi Hendrix to Eric Clapton. And it was just an amazing time, and I wouldn't have been able to do that if I would have known anything more about him than I already did.
Right.
So that's why, and that's why talking to you is even cooler because, again, you've got 15 years in the business. You've, especially with the indie groups, they're just so appreciative of any type of help that they get. When at the beginning of the summer, when I first announced that I was going to do the concert series that I did, which is still going on, everybody just jumped at it. I mean, everyone from the Maryland, Virginia, DC area that I live in was just jumping on it left and right. And I had booked within 2 days, 25 bands to come on here and just play music. And the opportunity just to do that, they were so appreciative. And it was just so much fun to see the look in their eyes. And, even though they were looking into a camera, which didn't have, people in front of it, you could just see how much they loved playing music for the sake of playing music. And it's so beautiful.
You just mentioned that you're from the Maryland and DC area. Where are you from? I'm from there.
I'm actually in Northern Virginia in Leesburg.
I know where that is. I was born in Baltimore, and then I moved to Randallstown. I went to a Catholic high school, which is closed now, which was Archbishop Keogh, and I went to Village Lily College, which is now Stevenson University. I grew up there. My brother lived there. I met my husband there. So yeah, I know the whole area. It's very nice, and
it is.
Who I met there, who was very helpful to me in my career, I don't know if he'll hear this at any point, was Matt Davis from 98 Rock, a really nice guy. And I had a band in Baltimore called As I Am that was like a college band. And he was so helpful to us, and he's a heck of a nice guy. And, when these people who are known in the industry, and they do. He used to do Noise in the Basement as his indie series. When they reach out and they help you with your band, I've met so many people that way, and that's kind of why I'm so connected and why I'm known in all these different areas. I've had bands in Chicago and New York and Boston and Atlanta and Texas and California and Colorado and England, and so I just have radio contacts and show contacts and venue contacts and band contacts, and over 15 years, you meet a lot of people.
You do. I mean, shit, in the 9 months that this iteration of this program has been around, there was another program before, but I can't even tell you how many people I've met in the last, 9 months that the show's been around. And it's so much fun to just meet new people, see new faces, hear new stories, and see and hear passion like you just don't see. And that's what I really, really love, is that passion in, some of these people's eyes, especially the indie music artists. Before, some record exec who's just out for their fucking money gets their grubby little hands on them and then starts to make them hate the music that they're making, they're just genuine about what they're doing now, and they just don't care about anything else except for playing music, and it's so much fun to talk to them.
Well, when we first integrated off of MySpace and onto Facebook and started working on there, I got the idea. I saw all these independent companies out doing their own thing like I was, and I thought, I wonder how many of these media people, radio people, PR people, I could get together in a group and get into a little cooperative where we would share and trade contacts and information amongst ourselves. And we called ourselves the ENVISION Indie Coalition. And we have about 20 companies that are participating. And we put on, back in, I think it was 2014, we put on 2 concerts, one in Colorado and one in Charlotte, and we put them on for an organization called Music for Vets, and we raised money for rehabilitation, different things with instruments and programs for vets, and all the companies worked together, and different record labels got together, and different artists got together, and the concert that I personally attended was the Charlotte concert where we sold out the venue. And that was a really cool experience because it was just so many indie companies uniting together to do something that, say, a big company would have done. That's when I started to get the idea about hooking up with other PR companies and other promoters and other stations and trying to work together and create this gigantic network where, when I do a project with Jimmy, because we share a lot of things, when we work together and bring in all of our side people, we're actually bigger than some of the big famous companies. The amount of reach and the amount, like our press releases, if I do a press release for a really major event, I'll get 1 million views on it. And I'm not famous. I mean, I'm known in the indie community, but I'm not a big famous company with a big famous name, with a big famous wallet behind me. I'm just a hardworking person that loves what I do, and I really believe in what I do, and I believe in the music and the artists. Are we frozen?
Oh, damn, that was me.
Okay.
Sorry, I had it muted. I was opening my can of soda. I didn't want to.
That's okay. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh no,
yeah. So
not again.
no, that was all my fault.
That's okay. I'd rather it be a soda than Coke.
Yeah, because my pop filter was blocking the red light, so I couldn't see that it was turned red, and now
Gotcha.
now it's green again. But like I said before, I mean, the indie artists, just have so much passion for what they're doing, and when they find somebody that really supports them and gives them the love and care that they deserve, they will give you the best. They really will. Are you still in the area now?
No, I moved. I was originally from Baltimore. I moved to Pennsylvania. I lived in mid-central Pennsylvania for about 25 years,
Mm-hmm.
and now I live in South Florida.
Ooh.
Yeah, right now. That's why I said that's why we're having trouble with Comcast. It's hurricane season down here.
Yeah.
So
I moved out of South
little
Florida
rain.
about 4 years ago.
Yeah,
We're at in South Florida yet.
we are on the Gulf side in Cape Coral.
Okay. Yeah, we were on the
We're
other.
very-
We were on the other side.
Right, gotcha.
The West Palm Beach, Fort Pierce
Uh-huh.
area. Yeah. But you know, like I said, I mean, I just love music and I love what you're doing. So with everything that's going on, and especially in the times that we're having where we can't play music and we can't go to venues or whatever the case might be, except for in Florida because apparently DeSantis just doesn't care.
I could go on and on.
I posted something on my Instagram, excuse me, my Twitter, only my Twitter today, because I don't like that guy, but
I don't either.
I got such a response from it. It was so funny. I posted a picture of him and I said, Rick DeSantis, the worst serial killer in the history of Florida.
I said I would rather vote for a coconut.
Yeah. I got out right before he got elected. So I'm thankful for that. But God,
Yeah, it's
But-
a hot mess down here.
it is. Because, I mean, that guy has his head so far up Trump's ass, he could taste everything he eats.
I think it has to do with the fact that our economy is so dependent on travel that if we don't have the Disney parks and the cruise lines, it's a lot of jobs and a lot of money, but
Yep.
then you also have to counterbalance that with the health of the citizens, which has to be a priority. And I mean, that's questionable. So there's
Yeah.
just a lot of political nonsense going on down here.
It
in my
is.
opinion.
I read an article about I think it was Volusia County, or maybe it was a specific city. I can't remember, but the town or county or whatever issued a mandatory mask mandate, and all these lawyers started suing the county. It's like, come on, what does it matter, really? Florida's so messed up.
I will give that a giant amen. So
Yeah.
I think you were going to ask me.
So I got off on a
question was
tangent.
going in a direction.
It was.
I was watching you drive it, and
Then I went
where-
hard left.
Where you might have been headed was, what do artists do right now?
Yeah, what are you advising them to do right now is more of the question.
So, okay. I have a very good friends who live in Italy who are a duo who I met on MySpace named Anita Camarella Davide Ficini. And Anita wrote to me when the virus had just hit Italy and hadn't yet really hit here. And she said, stock your house up. I'm warning you. I'm telling you, we're on full lockdown. It's terrible. Buy everything you need. And I didn't want to scare anybody. I didn't want to scare my kids. My kids are in their 20s. They're not little kids, but I didn't want to scare anybody. So I just stocked the house. And lo and behold, they were right. So knowing that this was coming, I'll go back to my friend Evan Lowenstein from Evan and Jaron. Evan is the guy who owns the platform called Stage It, if you know what Stage It is.
Mm-hmm.
So what I thought of is, we've done Concert Window and we've done Stage It, and, kind of like that's going to be the wave. So I contacted one of my artists, Thomas Claxton, who has great experience with putting events and tours together. And I said, Thomas, we really, really need to do something live streaming this summer. We attempted to use Stage It, but unfortunately, some of the people that were performing in our, it was called the Isolated Sessions series. You can find that on Facebook and you can look at our videos. We did a lovely series. We had a mixture of independents and some famous artists. We had Grammy Award winner Larry Mitchell. We had Tony Moore, who's a personal friend of mine who used to be in the Cutting Crew. We had Stuart Epps, who was a legendary producer who produced Elton John and Oasis, Robbie Williams, Led Zeppelin. He came on and he gave a history of the music that he's produced, the records that he's done. It's look up the Isolated Session series. You won't be disappointed. What a talented group. So that was in the early summer. The next month I put on LadyLake Presents. And we have a charity that's called Light Up the Love that's based in California. It's all about doing good work, getting your good work out, doing things for other people. So we did a whole month of live streams for Light Up the Love. Then my women's group in Boston called Women in Music Gathering, ran by Linda Marks and Colette O'Connor, did a whole month of indie women, singer-songwriters from Boston, live streaming. We are now in development with a brand called Bass Note Sangria out of California, month-long wine-based series in October. And, that's all part of...
Uh-oh. Shit. Cindy, can you hear me? No. No. I was having fun. And we lost her. Hopefully she comes back. All right, so I guess I'm gonna see what happens with that. I'm gonna air a quick commercial break and then I'll be right back. Guys, ever wonder how I get this manly beard looking so good? It's all because of Viking Revolution. And at Viking Revolution, not only can you get some great beard balms, but you can also get some great beard oils, as well as some awesome quick shower pads, which helps prevent you stanking up after the gym. Also, these great wet wipes, which help prevent, stanky after going doo-doo. And also some pomades and some other great products, all at Viking Revolution. So do yourself a favor, go to dckproductions.com/sponsors, click on the banner, and get yourself some of these great products. Viking Revolution. Join the revolution. Guys, have you ever wondered how you can help support the channel and also look fucking cool in the process? Go to the link down below, www.dckproductions.com/shop, to get the awesomest merch on the market today. Whether you just want to get one of our plain logos in one of our many different colors, or if you want to get one of our cool graphic tees that just are funny as hell, the choice is yours. But definitely pick up your choice of any one of these shirts in any color, any size, any style that you choose at www.dckproductions.com/shop, or click the link in the bio. Thank you, guys. All right, links are down below in the video. But anyway, back to what I was talking about earlier. Hopefully Cindy comes back. Florida internet sucks, by the way. So anyway, back to what I was talking about with Bill and Ted. So right now, again, we were talking about Unhinged did 2.6 million across 2,331 theaters domestically, and an additional 8.8 million in Canada. So it's looking at about $20 million domestically. And then Bill and Ted opened up across 1,000 theaters, like I said. Grossed about $1 million. And that's not even including what the video on demand is. And then there's another movie called The 800, which is close to right now, right around 300 million. So is, video on demand the way to go? So far it looks like it's gonna do okay. Wonder Woman 1984 is still supposed to be coming out this year. Maybe Tenet. No, I don't think Tenet's supposed to come out this year. But I know Black Widow is supposed to be coming out as well. And I guess we're all gonna have to wait and see for next week to see what everyone else says. Because Mulan is gonna be the test. That was the one that's been pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And I guess they said of the two movies that they would rather. I think they did it on purpose, especially with the way they did it. They put out New Mutants, which was a movie that did not get the greatest reviews. And didn't do too well in the theaters that it did open up in. Like I said, it's 7 million across the theaters that it could run in, which isn't too bad, but it's the best opening of the summer, which is pretty sad. So I don't know, but video on demand and at least Bill and Ted are supposed to be doing pretty well. So I guess we'll wait and see again with another nostalgic movie. Mulan hitting Disney Plus premiere, or premium subscription, whatever you want to call it, next week. I guess it's really going to be the indicator here about what we're going to do. So, anyway, I talked about this briefly yesterday. But again, we lost Chadwick Boseman on Sunday. And it's I'm still shook by it, as I know most people are as well. It's sad. Oh, she just texted me. Apparently they're having a really bad storm. Yes, we can definitely reschedule. I was really enjoying our conversation. All right, so we're gonna have to reschedule Cindy for another time, and that's fine. I'm just gonna continue on with what I was talking about. But Chadwick Boseman got diagnosed right around the time of Black Panther, and then continued to give us some of the greatest films of the 2010s. I mean, between his performance in Black Panther, obviously, in Civil War, in all the Marvel movies, Infinity War, and in Endgame. I mean, even though in Endgame he was only around for a short period, Infinity War he was in the entire thing. So was Civil War, and obviously Black Panther. Denai Guerrilla, who was Michonne on Netflix, and also Michonne on Walking Dead, and also Okoye in the Black Panther, released a Twitter post today honoring him. I'm going to go ahead and read it now. She began, "How do you honor a king? Reeling from the loss of my colleague, my friend, my brother, struggling for words, nothing feels adequate. I always marveled at how special Chadwick was. Such a pure-hearted, profoundly generous, regal, fun guy. On many occasions, I would think of how thankful I was that he was the leading man that I was working closely with. A true class act. And so perfectly equipped to take on the responsibility of leading the franchise that changed everything for black representation. My entire job as Okoye was to respect and protect a king, honor his leadership. Chadwick made that job profoundly easy. He was the epitome of kindness, elegance, diligence, and grace." Then I went on to highlight the children Chadwick inspired throughout his career, writing that her heart aches for them to lose a hero just as they finally found him. Concluding her statement, "I am so thankful to have taken the Black Panther journey with him, to have known him, spent time in his light and leadership, and call him a friend forever." And then she wrote something in African, which basically means "sleep in peace, O King." And I mentioned this briefly last night. You know, he had such an impact on the black community, not only in this country, but across the world. Showed millions of little boys of black, culture that they could be a king. But above and beyond that, he brought to life a character that was a minor character, realistically, in the Marvel Universe, and made him shine in such a way. It's amazing. I'm going to read one more dedication here. Michael B. Jordan, who played Killmonger. He was also in Creed. And obviously the failed Fantastic Four movie. Released a tribute to him as well. The two starred together in Black Panther. He was the cousin of T'Challa, being Killmonger. And this is what he wrote. "You showed me how to be better, honor purpose, and create legacy. And whether you've known it or not, I've been watching, learning, and constantly motivated by your greatness. I've been trying to find the words, but nothing comes close to how I feel. I've been reflecting on every moment, every conversation, every laugh, every disagreement, every hug, everything. I wish I had more time. One of the last times we spoke, you said you were forever linked. We were forever linked. And now the truth of that means more to me than ever. Since nearly the beginning of my career, starting with all my children when I was 16 years old, you paved the way for me. You showed me how to be better, honor purpose, and create legacy. And whether you've noted it or not, I've been watching, learning, and constantly motivated by your greatness. Everything you've given the world, the legends and heroes that you've shown us we are, will live on forever. But the thing that hurts the most is now that I understand how much of a legend and hero you are. Through it all, you never lost sight of what you loved most. You cared about your family, your friends, your craft, and your spirit. You cared about the kids, the community, our culture, and humanity. You cared about me. You are my big brother, but I never got a fully chance to tell you that, or truly give you your flowers while you were still here. I wish we had more time. I'm more aware now than ever that time is short with people we love and admire. I'm going to miss your honesty, your generosity, your sense of humor, and incredible gifts. I'll miss the gift of sharing space with you in scenes. I'm dedicating the rest of my days to live the way you did, with grace, courage, and no regrets. And then he goes on to quote a line from the movie Black Panther. Is this your king? Yes, he is. Rest in peace, brother. Fuck, that was moving. I'm not crying, you're crying. Oh, fucking A, Michael B. Jordan. Yeah. Gone way too soon. Chadwick Boseman died of cancer at the age of 43. Damn. 4-year-long battle. Now, let me tell you why that hits a home a little bit. That's my age. I'm 39. So it means he got diagnosed with colon cancer at my age. It only lasted 4 years. To think that I could leave my family in 4 years from now. Left them broken. Left my kids without a father. That is a harsh realization. So, rest in peace, King. And I beg Marvel, do not replace him. Honor him with the utmost respect. Have him pass away on screen of colon cancer. And then have Shuri take over. And she can be queen and take over the Black Panther legacy. That is what needs to happen. The actress who plays Shuri, which her name escapes me now, and I apologize. That's how it should be. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I'll have to wait for Black Panther 2 to find... Oh, we'll find out before then, but we'll see how they do it. You know, they hid really well in Civil War the death of Peggy Carter, where nobody realized it happened until they watched the movie. So Disney, Marvel did a pretty good job with hiding that, and I think they need to do something similar here. Now, granted, we did not lose Haley Atwell in real life, but we did lose Chadwick Boseman, who again inspired millions of black little kids around the world. You know, and inspired, you know, everyone with just his charm and he's just a cool dude. And I don't say was, he is a cool dude. And I will never forget that. So yeah. Gone too soon, brother. Gone too soon. Wakanda forever. Join me tomorrow on a Wednesday edition of Suck It Podcast, where I interview excuse me, fashion designer Michael Kaluva, who has a spring fashion show coming up soon virtually. Very big activist, especially for rheumatoid arthritis, which he currently has as well. I love talking to activists and stuff like that, so, and advocates. So that's going to be a fun conversation with him tomorrow. So join me tomorrow with Michael Kaluva, 8 p.m. East, 5 p.m. West, for another edition of Suck It. Hopefully we won't have any technical difficulties with him. But I hope Cindy and her family is okay during the storm down in Florida right now. Those things can be nasty. But until tomorrow, stay happy, stay healthy, and as always, stay fucking heavy. Peace.